Testing, testing. And there we have it. Thank you for everyone for joining today. Here we are live at the Baxter Effect podcast on this bright, sunny, hopefully it's sunny where you're at, Friday afternoon here in Orlando, Florida. Super excited about our talk today. And what we're going to talk about today is the food pyramid. And if you are not up to speed, what's going on with the food pyramid, I got to tell you, you're in for a treat today. I'm going to lay it on the line and talk about some of the most important things in regard to why the food pyramid was so bad ever since I was a kid, and likely, until like this year, did it even make sense? Our food pyramid wasn't about health, it was totally about control. And we look at this and it's just like, we knew that this was something that was causing the health problem. When they race for the cure to find cancer and they try to find what the issue with chronic disease is, there's a reason why our doctors were only given 4 hours. How can a medical doctor, in his 20th plus year of education in school, still have no understanding of our food and nutrition? And it's obvious they knew what they were doing, because the obesity crisis here in America. Why are Americans so much more obese than anywhere in the world? It's what we add to our foods. It's obvious, guys. In Europe, a lot of the stuff is banned that they allow in our country. And isn't it sad? And what we realize is, what if the official nutritional advice that shaped many generations was completely backwards? Well, we're going to go over the pyramids behind me. So we're going to go over the transition, and I'm going to break it down into such a way that you don't want to miss today's show. We're going to break down the longevity pyramid, not just the current HHS pyramid, but we're going to break down like the future of health pyramid. Like we understand it. We don't need someone already. It's better than what it was. But anytime you allow a governmental control or a body of power control, what we see is that it gets abused. And we've seen this with every federal agency. Every federal agency has been abused, and the end user gets the most abuse, the taxpayer. So as the taxpayer, you paid for that food pyramid, that 1992 food pyramid. You paid for them to give you that. And guess what? That's why everyone has diabetes. That's why chronic disease is at 70%. We were ingrained with the wrong information. And the scary thing is that when you look at a pyramid, the shape of it, if you flip it upside down, and we understand they're flipping something upside down, all they did was take what was good for you and say that was the worst. And when actually what was bad for you, they said it was what you needed the most. So let that sink in for a moment. And know that the pain and the anguish that this has caused, the suffering of just being, this is what we always talk about, guys. We talked about being indoctrinated. I hate using that word. But we talk about being programmed. Here's it doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter if you're Tom Brady, like at the beginning, or whoever is a healthy athlete. Like you looked at this food pyramid and you were like, I gotta believe it. We've given trillions to our school systems, our medical industry. This is the food pyramid they came up with. And this is the reason why chronic disease is going to cost America by 2030, 30 plus $40 trillion. Yeah, we've been lied to. We've been indoctrinated. The best of them have been lied to. The smart ones, they told holistic healthcare practitioners they're idiots, they're stupid, they're crazy, they're conspiracy theorists because they fought trillions of dollars of money, and look what happened. But we're going to change that today. But we're going to talk about a couple things. In 1992, the federal government issued this food pyramid right here, right? This food pyramid right here, it said that you need 6 to 11 servings of grains. Number one thing you need, 6 to 11 servings of grains. Did you know that grains process into sugar? So that's like saying you just took 6 to 11 servings of pure sugar with very little or no nutritional value. And you think of that, you think about how many things that this dictated, this food pyramid. Well, one, it dictated the school lunches, government agencies, the veterans, the military. This food pyramid they gave us dictated it to dietitians at education, grocery store marketing, how our parents fed us, all because of this pyramid they gave us. Isn't that insane? Well, we're going to cover why this is so insane today, and please stick around because I'm going to lay some facts on you guys today that hopefully you'll never forget. You will be able to regurgitate this information and help endless amounts of people out there. It's just one of those things where if we're talking about truth, and that's what I'm reporting on today is just the truth, that why in 1992, every single decade after, obesity rates doubled. From 1992 on, obesity rates doubled. Type 2 diabetes surged. Fatty liver disease became common. Chronic inflammation was so normalized. And our energy levels declined because we became addicted to sugar. And something clearly wasn't working. So if something wasn't working in 1992, by 1999, you were the one screaming, there's something wrong with the food system. I've got all these major health issues. You were told you were crazy, a conspiracy theorist, and that you should just walk off this earth. But thank God that we've got a little bit of movement. And I got to speak to the Surgeon General of 1992. There's an open interview about this situation here on my Instagram, Real John Baxter, and I asked her about this particular question. Our own United States Surgeon General under the Clinton administration. I asked her, why is this? And she says this is what the food companies fought for. They were able to out-educate our public with money and marketing dollars. So from our own Surgeon General, you can see our businesses are corrupt inside of the money machine. And we were given this because think about how many people down the line got injured. Think about how many people did the vaccine. They're going to have down the line injuries. They think about this food system. Think about how many people are going to have long-term serious consequences because they listened. And what I could say is that fast forward to today, this middle chart here, the food pyramid in the middle. It looks a lot different, but the number one thing you need in the current food pyramid is fruits and vegetables. 50% of your plate. They changed the whole ideology. 50% of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. 25% of your plate should be protein. 25% of your plate should be grains. So, and at the top, you don't even need dairy. That's the current HHS, USDA, and this should solve the current one from 2025, the current food pyramid, should solve quite a bit of understanding, and it should help save thousands and thousands of lives, millions of lives, to stop people from getting this nasty chronic diseases, diabetes, obesity. This is a corrective move by RFK Jr. in the HHS. They forced the USDA to give a more correct food pyramid. And we're talking about the basis of our healthcare system is this stupid food pyramid given to us by the powers that be to indoctrinate the masses. And I'm just so happy and glad that currently the new food pyramid in 2025, they call it the My Plate pyramid. It's because, you take a plate of food, 50% is fruits and vegetables, 25 protein, and 25 grains. And that's more stability into reducing the amount of glucose in the body in chronic disease. But hear me out. There's more to this story, and that's this last food pyramid right here. And we're going to cover that too. This is the longevity food pyramid that includes intermittent fasting, mainly a ketogenic diet, and a breakdown of how this works. So, was the 1992 food pyramid built for metabolic optimization or population feeding? Well, the original model that prioritized the grains, right? It was a way to keep food cheap and to keep bellies full, understood. But it was also a sinister plan to create disease so that it props up the food and the pharmaceutical industry. The giants who funded and operated the indoctrination of mainstream America. But the body does not primarily run on grains at all. Did you know that you don't even need grains or sugars your entire life? How insane is that? To think that we never ever needed grains or sugars in our diet, and to think that we were told that that is what we need the most. So the inversion of what was healthy was told that we need the most of. And so that's where we live in a world that needs massive change, especially in healthcare sector. And that's why I'm here with you today, John Baxter, with this Baxter Effect podcast. I'm reporting on truth so that you at home can educate your family and friends on the realities of today. One of the things I like to cover is when we talk about the food pyramid, the comparison between what was and what is now and what could be. We keep talking about glucose because this is the situation with people's glucose is glue. It's sticky. Like if you put sugar water on a table, let's say you spill some sugar water, what happens? It's like a sticky liquid, right? You touch it after it dries on the table and it's sticky. So it's no different in the body. And that's why sugar is actually, or glucose in general, it is the building blocks with cholesterol and calcium as atherosclerosis. It clogs the system up. And that is one of the ways that the big pharma has a role in all of this. Because, how many people's gallbladders are compromised? Do you guys know this? Pretty much most people's gallbladders are already compromised. How do we know? We scan the body every day, thousands and thousands of people. I've seen these, I've done them myself. The gallbladder is the first issue that's created with glucose. And if you're eating 6 to 11 grains a day, all those grains are turning into sugar, and that sugar is circulating in your body at enormous levels, endlessly, day and night, sticking as glucose does, and elevating your insulin levels. So And that promotes insulin levels, promotes fat storage. That's why we are the most obese country in the world. And it reduces fat burning. So those people that work out all the time, I feel for them. They're listening to the current food pyramid of the past. They're working out like crazy, and they can't understand why they're not losing weight. It's because they're on a sugar diet. And when that happens over time, this contributes to their metabolism going south, getting bad. And obesity just keeps getting worse from there. And then it becomes how to burn fuel. The body forgets how to burn fuel from the middle pyramid. The middle pyramid suggests that fats are good. Fats and oils, you need more fats and oils than you need grains. And fats and oils even turn to glucose. But they turn into a better form of glucose, one that's already in a ketogenic lipid version, fat-soluble version, and your body loves this. Your brain loves this. It doesn't have to burn itself out digesting. So another thing is grains take 16 hours to digest, which is ridiculous. You know what? Oils take very little to digest. So not only is the diet that they gave us, the food pyramid that they gave us in the past, it just wears your system down. It overloads your system. Something that could just be really quick and digestible turns into something that doesn't even digest, even after 18, 16 hours. So if you just joined, this is an important topic today. I'm live here at the Baxter Effect podcast, and I'm still in my little monologue. I'm still letting it rip. I'm still unhinged by what's going on with this food pyramid. And I've looked online. No one's really covered this topic. So you're in for a really good treat. You're getting education, you're getting information into this really important topic. And they also said that we didn't need more protein. So the old, pyramid said, oh, you don't need that much protein. You don't need eggs, and you don't need red meat. You don't need, but in reality, the new food pyramid suggests you need fats, oils, and proteins more than anything else. And a lot more of it. You can get by with just fats, oils, and proteins, and some minerals like salts. But to think you could be so much more healthy just eating fats, oils, and proteins, legumes and beans, than you ever could eating 16 to 11 servings of grains a day. Now, don't believe me? Research yourself. You don't believe a word I say? Fine. That's fine with me. But research it before you come to a conclusion. But I believe I just laid it out on a silver platter for you at home. Now, the fats were minimized in the old system, and they didn't even break them down. But fats are already in a situation that's easily digestible for the body. It's a file the body knows how to read. You know what the body doesn't know how to read? Man-made processed sugars, foods, fats. These oils are called rancid oils. Rancid oils are like vegetable oils, canola oils. Did you know that your vegetable and canola oil is worse than the motor oil in your car? Wow, Baxter. Look it up, research it. You're better off putting motor oil for your car on your food than having your food cooked with fried canola oil or vegetable oil. It's all oil. It all comes from the ground. And a lot of the oil has been added. We got to realize the nastiness of our food system. I'm not going to let this go by the wayside. We just heard about the Epstein files, and as sick and as twisted as that is, aren't we being indoctrinated to that level with our food system? The proof is in the pudding. Straight facts, guys. Straight facts. I'm giving it to you. And you realize, why are people not healthy? Ugh, it's not hereditary, guys. That was a lie. It's about what you put in your body. What you put in your body determines, and the cleanliness of that food, or what you ingest, or what you put on your skin. This is of the most importance. Realize it. It's not only about putting proteins and fats. They never distinguished what was which in the past food pyramid. But in the current food pyramid in 2025 under RFK, they break down that not all fats are alike. Not all carbohydrates are alike. Not all sugars are alike. And so that's another bogus thing that we learned from our food pyramid of the past. The one I grew up with. The one I swore by. And the thing is you gotta realize it duped us all. They got us. They got us really good, you know? And as a health and wellness professional, someone that was a high-level athlete, you know, this would have helped me reduce my inflammation. This would have helped me in sports. This would have helped me so much further if I would have known this a couple decades earlier. So realize this. The pyramid may not have intended harm, but it was harmful. But the structure influenced behavior, which leads to they control. The big pharma controlled us with the mainstream media narrative, which caused trillions of dollars in chronic diseases. But the truth is, behavior shapes the terrain. You eat healthy, you eat clean, your terrain, your purity increases. So the cleaner you eat, the cleaner you are. You are what you eat. And it's just a simple truth, and it's so factual. Do you think someone eating GMOs, and they've already done the study on the mice, you know, there's a certain level they allow that they've tested on rats. GMOs can help create tumors in the body. But when they modified their understanding from that biological animal called a rat or a mouse, and they integrated into what a human would eat that does have tumors as well, that they would just give us just enough to subtly create issues in the body. And what we're talking about is system failure. If you can clog up the pipes, you can clog the whole system. If you can clog the whole system, then you have a chronic disease brewing. And here it is, this volatile. This is the volatile understanding that I want to get across today. Blood, lymph, nerves, and fascia. Blood, lymphs, nerves, and fascia. These are just 4 systems, but they regulate everything through circulation. You pinch a nerve, what happens down the stream? Things get impaired. You stop the flow of blood, things get impaired down the line. You have tight fascia, you have chronic illness and disease in that area. You sticky up the blood with glucose, you've got atherosclerosis, hardening of your arteries. You have sugar floating around your glucose floating around your blood system. You've got bacteria, molds, yeast growing at obscene levels. You stop your lymph system. Did our medical industry know this back in 1992 when they created this pyramid? Yes, they did. They intentionally created a bad food system, and you can thank your politicians, you can thank your USDA, who was behind this. You can thank the lobbyists, and you can thank big pharma companies for promoting this propaganda to the masses. The food system changed, the school system food changed, the military changed because of that food. It is so important. What we need to realize is food is not just calories, it's signaling. These are signals. This food that we put in our body, it's just these signals help us get better. They help our RNA. The food we eat, the herbs and minerals we put in our body really do affect our RNA. And that's our emotional response. That is somewhat of our consciousness. That is that's how we live and eat. So let me ask you, if food didn't matter, and a sugar was just a sugar, a carbohydrate was just a carbohydrate, and a protein was just a protein, do you think that on one side of this, if someone ate pure, did intermittent fasting, and they did a side-by-side comparison, at the time this person was 18 years old, I'd love to do this study. Someone who didn't have a vaccine, who ate pure and clean, and by the time they were 18 versus someone that just followed the food system, I would love to do a body comparison, a body analysis, even a mental and emotional analysis to see where we line up. And we knew from the 1960s that obesity was already shot. There was not many obese people in America in the 1960s. Well, what happened in the 80s, 90s, the 2000s, the 2010? All they did was normalize. They normalized this diet that they promoted to us, and it turned out, so bad. So these are the questions you should ask yourself. These are the major takeaways. What should this meal, when you're eating, what does this meal do to insulin? Will it spike my insulin? Will it reduce my insulin based on what I told you about grains? What does it do to inflammation? When you're eating food, what does it do to my inflammation? What does it do for my recovery? Does it enhance it or slow it down? And what does it do for my overall resilience? That could be anything from your immune system to your ability to perform at a high level, your ability to have the energy to do what you want. So this is more important. If our medical industry was so advanced, we think, well, America, we have $1 trillion health industry. We are the most advanced healthcare industry in the world. Yet, we don't do anything for chronic disease. That is where the money is being made. Chronic disease is where money is being made. It's proven with the food chart of yesterday and today. And what we're going to cover today is some more information in regards to what we can do. We can blame and we can victimize till the cows come home. But the truth is, we're offering awareness. We're offering this education and wisdom to you today so you can share this information. So always, please like, share, comment this podcast on your social media. Comment below. And if you've got a comment, I'd love to answer. Also, a couple of the findings that we found from studying these food pyramids. One, that protein needs to increase with age. Protein was the missing link for a lot of people. We had a low protein diet, high carb. That just doesn't sound right to begin with. Muscle mass. Now, the more muscle you have in your thighs and the more muscle mass you have in general, the better you will age. It's a proven fact. The more muscle you keep in an older age, the better you will age. And I've seen this time and time again, and I've seen skinny people with very little muscle mass get to an old age and die. There's also an autophagy. Autophagy happens when, the body purges itself from fasting, even when there is a chronic disease. If you keep feeding and you keep eating and you keep getting bigger, it's not going to do too much to heal you, because your body is designed to use the energy it has and put that energy to the best use it has available. One, to digest foods. Digesting food takes away all your personal healing and goes toward digesting grains, which take 18 hours to digest. What if there was very little time the body had to use for breaking down foods and just utilizing what was there to heal itself? So let's talk about this. What we're looking to do, and I think this is the main key, is to stabilize our blood sugar. Get enough adequate proteins, get enough adequate fats and oils, get enough micronutrient density. This can come from pink salts, the salts of today, magnesium. These are probably the two most important minerals and vitamins that you can get just from a simple salt, and reduce processed load. So reduce processed sugars, reduce all this processed stuff out of the body. And so this food pyramid debate is political. I believe it is, but let's not go there today. Let's just say this food pyramid is just physiological, and physiology wins. Physiology wins because the truth is the truth. This is not, you can't blame genetics. Don't blame genetics. Blame what you put in your body. And that's the sure sign that you can be the healthiest you can be by just following the science. So I will tell you this, the food pyramid wasn't about health, it was about control. So we talked about 1992 and how we got here today, realizing that grains are not the foundation if you're just tuning in, that fat was more helpful, fat and oils was extremely much more helpful than they ever thought, that agriculturally, how the food was created or how it was processed is very important. So let's just take one, for instance, salt or processed sugar. Processed salt or processed sugar, the white color, right? Well, processed sugar and processed salts, the table salt, they were heated to 12,000 degrees. They were dyed with bleach, and then you put that in your body. Once a organic natural substance is heated at 12,000 degrees, is it the same? We're talking about process. It's not. It's nowhere near the same. Our body reads food like files. It reads like an Adobe reader. If you don't have an Adobe reader, you can't process the file, you can't read the file, and when you can't read the file, it's just causing inflammation in the body. The body is going to try to use that, whatever you put in it, the best to its capacity, and even do some really weird things with it. They just don't let you know. So we broke down all these, and I think it's about time to kind of just cover the food pyramid in general in this new one. The first one we're going to talk about, this last one, is as we go through this food pyramid, we basically have the original food pyramid, 1992. This second one, of course, this was the 2025. They changed it up. But here's the one I want to talk about today. And this should end on just a very high note. This is the longevity, ketogenic, intermittent fasting pyramid diet. It just explodes these two. Let's talk about getting to the next level, right? We want to stave away from chronic disease. We want to realign with the reality, and we want to know what's giving the best results in your diet. And the number one thing you need in the longevity diet is to not eat. It's to intermittent fast. You should be fasting and not eating for 16 to 18 hours a day. And that's how people are thriving. Allow your body to digest that food for 16, 18 hours a day. You'll feel lighter. You'll look better. You'll have less inflammation. The food that you do eat will be assimilated throughout the body in a much more structured, organized situation. Not just stuffing food down your throat and getting big and obese from all the extra sugars in your body. No, this longevity diet is about getting much better, getting as healthy, and reaching your human potential, not just hitting the status quo. So, one of the things that we recommend in the longevity diet is 6,000 milligrams of salt. Why do we recommend 6,000 milligrams, not of table salt, get that straight, 6,000 milligrams of sea salt or some other type of like pink salt, Celtic salt? They hate, the FDA hates that talk about salt. Let me tell you why. So the FDA ran a study with over 35 million people across the world. Did you know that just taking 6,000 milligrams of salt was the answer to pretty much every health problem that you have? That's why we put it in our longevity diet. Aren't we smart? That's what we're intended to do. We're going for highest human potential. And when you add 6,000 milligrams of salt, guess what? We are electric. The body uses that salt and minerals for biological, physiological processes. The body needs salt. When I flex my muscle, it needs salt. And guess what? That's been my secret to sports for a very long time. You can go as someone that's in their late 40s. You can go 3 hours at the gym and people are like, well, what's your secret? Well, they don't know that in my mixture here is Soleil salt, liquid salt added to, not pure, added to my drink. That is the electrolytes. And if you have electrolytes, you have a lot of energy, you have sustained energy, and you're getting back to how this body actually physiologically works. The other thing is just clean water for hydration. So many times it's just not, H2O is just not H2O. Water, if you look at what's in our water content, you can have fluoride in the water. That's not H2O. They've added some extra stuff. So, on one, you could add Soleil salt, which is the mineralized, just a little capful, nothing too crazy. Add a little bit of salt to distilled water. If you distill your own water, that's the best water to use. It's pure crystalline water. And when you add a little table salt, that's probably the best mix you could possibly give. And there's so many different formulations to this. We have hydrogen water here at Anti-Aging Bed. We have the most advanced water machine out there. It's an anti-aging water that not only has hydrogen, it has alkalinity and ionization. But then add some salt. That 6,000 milligrams of salt will do a body good. And what's the first thing they give you? This is the truth that it's very hard to dispel. If the same people that created this chart here, that food pyramid, they suggested after doing that study with 35 million people that 6,000 milligrams of salt was the most primary way to reach your human potential. They told everyone that you need 1,500 milligrams of salt every day, and they switched it from regular salt to table salt, which is already a killer. How many times have you heard, don't take too much table salt, it'll kill you? Well, isn't it those same people that created that table salt, the ones that created the system? They realized if you died from something they gave you, then they lost a customer. They want to keep you alive, so they said, oh, you only need 15,000 milligrams of salt, table salt, which I told you just a minute ago was heated to 12,000 degrees, and the body doesn't know what that is. But it does know what sea salt is. It does know what pink salt is. So realize salt is so important. This is part of the longevity circuit, longevity diet, and the ketogenic diet, along with the intermittent fasting, all in one. I'm going to cover it today of why these food pyramids are so important. The purpose of the fasting is to lower your insulin level, increase your metabolism, activate your autophagy, which is to help detox your body, enhance your mitochondrial repair, and reset your hunger and even your hormones. Intermittent fasting does this, guys. It'll make you look younger. You have no idea how good this is. The second layer to the longevity diet is the fats and oils. They just told us that fats and oils you don't even use. It's scary. This diet says you need fats and oils more than you need grains. And this diet is the second thing that you need the most of. And so, other than intermittent fasting, wow, the thing you need most is fats and oils. Well, you remember Wizard of Oz, the Tin Man? He rust. The Tin Man rust. Guess what? We are rusting every day. It's called oxidative stress. Oxidative means rust, essentially. And when we need oil to get the squeaks out. So it's almost like there's a play on words, and it's also like they're playing with us. But the most primary thing we need for our liver and everything else, the inflammation in our body, is oils. Coconut oil, olive oil, unheated. Never heat your olive oil. Always put it cold on your salad or take a shot of it. It's a medicine. Beautiful. Avocado oil cooks for your cooking endeavors. MCT oils, clean animal fats from wild animals, from wild salmon, fats from wild beef, wild turkey. These are the fats that are really good. It very, very well assimilates in the body because it's taking fat and creating it into glucose and more energy that may need to be stored as fat. But these are the primary things that you need, fats and oils, but not rancid fats and oils. So they've got this dialed in very well. So canola oil, which we talked about, and vegetable oil, you would be better off using motor oil. And it's even cleaner and more healthier than the vegetable canola oil that they're giving you. Their oil is full of pesticides, GMOs, and they actually put the motor oil into the vegetable and canola oils. There's no law against it. They do this with honey too, and I come from honey. It's the saddest thing ever. They put fake honey made of sugar in real honey, and they call it honey. They've been doing this to us forever. You just open your eyes. Open your eyes, Epstein files. It's not. It seems like it's not real, but it's real. Goal. What is the goal of fats being number 2? Well, we're going to transfer what would be gaining fat and adding it to our metabolism, which lowers our blood sugar level, lowers our fat adaptation, increases our hormonal balance, and cell membrane integrity. Oils do this very well. And what is the third layer of the longevity pyramid? The green right there. So it's intermittent fasting, fats and oils. The green is protein. We need fats and proteins more than anything. Why? Because it turns to glucose. We don't need sugar to get glucose. That's just an overload of sugar. We don't need grains. That's just going to turn into sugar too. And those grains take 18 hours to process through our digestive system. Makes no damn sense. So the clean protein has the fats, but it also, what we're looking for is the wild eggs, the pasture eggs, clean chicken, not the factory farm chicken that takes a chicken from this size to a huge size in just less than 2 months. So, they had Kentucky Fried Chicken had to change their name to KFC because they lost a lawsuit that they said that they really weren't selling chickens. They were selling something like a chicken out of a lab. That's why they had to change their name from Kentucky Fried Chicken to KFC. Don't believe me, look it up. So yeah, third layer proteins. We got to preserve our muscles. If we're going to age gracefully, the number one indicator is how much muscle you have in you. You get really sick and you have almost no muscle mass, almost like at an anemic or at a level of not having very much muscle mass at all. Those are when you get old and you have little muscle mass. That's another way to die quickly. So you need to keep your muscles enhanced, because if you do run into a situation where you could die from just a literal cold or flu, you start stripping away your own muscle mass to keep you alive. Before you know it, there's not enough left. You have nothing left. So to keep as much muscle mass as possible as you age is a longevity secret. It's just they won't tell you in the government, because you're better off being injured and treated every day. Okay, this the red layer, the fruits and vegetables. So we always knew that those were important, and there's minerals and nutrient density in fruits and vegetables plus fiber. So of course, in our longevity diet and our longevity pyramid, fruits and vegetables are so important. They got micronutrients, gut terrain and support, inflammation control. So, you're talking, this is just a healthy diet. Let me know in the comments if you think this diet is the way it should be. If you don't know, research it. If you understand it and you kind of understand what I'm saying thus far, you have common sense. Either way, good. And if you're happy about what I'm talking about or not happy with what I'm talking about, comment in the comment below what you believe is true. Be happy to cover whatever topic you want. So outside of all this, at the top, the purple, this last one, what do you need to use sparingly, right? Or eliminate. This is the longevity diet. Eliminate sugar, processed foods, refined grains, and dairy. Remove that crap out of your diet. You want to get healthy? We were lied to. Drink milk for strong bones. That was a freaking lie. Why do more women that drink milk have osteoporosis than any other situation? Because they lied to us. This food pyramid by RFK Jr. says use sparingly or don't use at all dairy. It's because the dairy, the way they're processing it, is going to give you a health issue. It's going to give you basically osteoporosis. They have put so many different things in processing milk that it's almost pretty scary to even eat cheese anymore. And I hate to say that because I love cheese and I love dairy, and I like, I'm just like everyone else. Ice cream tastes pretty damn good the last time I checked. But the reality is it's an ingredient into something that just bangs this body up. It's the mortar. Like if you were a bricklayer and we were going to lay bricks, well, I would say I need to make the mortar to create the bricks so we can lay bricks. And in our body, that mortar would be the stuff sticking to our arteries, which creates bricks around our arteries called atherosclerosis. And what you realize is you need to remove that dairy, especially that calcium that they add to the dairy, including the cheese. You need to remove that sugar, which is the glucose, stickiness, sticks to what? Coral types of things, calcium. Think of a coral reef. Coral reefs are, the final product is basically calcium carbonate. You add that to sugar, very sticky, it creates hardening in the arteries. And the last one is that cholesterol is it's never ever been the problem, cholesterol. Our brains are made of 70% cholesterol, just to let you know. One guy did a study a couple months ago. He ate over 4,000 eggs in a month and he lowered his cholesterol level. Okay? We've been lied to. We've been lied to pretty good. I gotta say, they did a good job. They did a great job with the Epstein files too at this juncture. They kept that hidden for decades, as longer than the food pyramid was a lie. There was Epstein files, which was even longer of a lie. So why do you think they would tell you the truth here? They're not. It's unfortunate though, you know? So out of this, the longevity enhancers, out of this food pyramid here, which is our longevity food pyramid, a ketogenic diet, along with intermittent fasting, along with fats and oils being the best, proteins the next, fruits and vegetables after that, and removing all of the stuff that you don't need, processed sugars, processed grains. So what else could you do in the longevity diet to enhance your health? Well, we talked about the salt protocol. 6,000 milligrams every single day of a sea salt version, pink salt, Celtic salt. This is what the FDA does not want you to do. Because guess what? They did a study with this. Don't believe me? Research it yourself. The 35 million people that they did this study on, they found that the FDA themselves, that 6,000 milligrams of salt was the best amount of salt for the human body. It would basically get you off of all pharmaceuticals, all blood pressure medicine, all cholesterol medicines, and basically less headaches. There were, how can I prove this to you, Baxter? Or Baxter, like, stop talking out of your head. Like, prove it to me. Fine, I'll do it. The first thing you do when you go to the hospital, what do? Doesn't matter what you have, or an ambulance. What's the first thing they do? They hook you up to an IV full of 9,000 milligrams of sodium. They pop that IV in your arm, and guess what? You feel so much better. You're like, I probably don't even need to do anything else. Now is salt important? They have the healing right there in front of your own eyes, and you can't see it. That's why I'm here today, to educate and give you wisdom. So what did they do in this food pyramid? They told everyone, you only need 15,000 milligrams of table salt, something that's going to kill you already. And all the while, they're giving you sodium as the first step in the hospital if you don't feel good. So I'm telling you right now, you want to be in longevity? Do 6,000 milligrams of salt a day. Your body is electric. You need salt. Salt was the original name for salary. In ancient Rome, guess what you got? You got salt as your salary instead of money. Because this body is electric. This body runs on salts, fats, and proteins, and micronutrients. End of story. Did we just decode something elaborate? Did we just decode like the whole medical system? How come no doctor ever told you any of this? The guy that had 30 years of research and study into the human body and knew so damn much, and you trusted him with the white jacket. You trusted what he told you. He didn't tell you this, the truth. He told you lies. But he's not a bad person himself. He's in a system that's bad. So, the next thing, magnesium. Magnesium is the number one deficient nutrient in the American diet. You want to add 100 extra biological processes? Take magnesium. Done. End of story. You're welcome. Why am I so passionate about this? Because this is how I healed myself. And when I didn't know this, I was a little confused, of course. But the sad thing is I was suffering. And so that's why I'm here today, to end suffering. I'm here to give you this information for you, your loved ones, your family, your kids, your mom, your dad, your cousins. This is how we win. Okay, I told you I spoke to the Surgeon General, right? And guess what she said? She says, well, the food industry, they paid for this. The pharmaceutical industry paid for this. The farmers and the pharmaceuticals and everyone else. They got together to get subsidies. They got their pockets lined. Their own family, though, was dying in the system. They didn't care about that. They cared more about the money. And the sad thing is what she says is that it doesn't matter how big the food system is and how much money they have. You have to just be a diehard at getting the evidence, the information, the education out to the public. I'm willing to take the bullets. I've already been here long enough, and I've already fought these wars. I'm here to continue fighting this war, which is wisdom over ignorance. I've been the product of that ignorance for many different decades. But it's time, and the time is now, where wisdom is the key to intelligence. Knowledge is not only power, but something more important than knowledge is discernment. And because we do have a lot of information flow, the discerning individual understands that, yeah, the Democrats say this, the Republicans say this. The person that doesn't look into everything with an unbiased mind and study the facts from the fiction that has the understanding of both sides, guess what that individual can do? Not only rewrite history, mainly rewrite themselves. You can turn confusion that we have out there into trust. Trusting yourself. Trusting your own knowledge. And that's where I'm different than most people. And I say that because I'm different in the sense that I'm going to give you this wisdom, but I'm going to teach you how to fish and catch your fish and not say trust and believe me. I don't want that on me. But what I do want is for you to be able to fish for yourself, to get to the place where you can take this information and get to the final era. And so there are a lot of things to cover here. One of the things I'd love to cover today is this longevity circuit. There are quite a few things here in regards to what we spoke about today, the longevity diet. We've covered the current 2025 pyramid. We covered the 1992 pyramid. If you just jumped on, realize you got to watch this. If the current industry or anyone, they've never really broken this down. If you want wisdom, watch this whole podcast. If you want to be confused and not really have a position that you care about, just keep going. You never cared, you likely won't care anymore. But if you want to know and research even on your own, the stuff that I say, Get to the point where you have looked at the pros and cons on both sides. You've spent the time to delineate which is fact and which is fiction. This is the problem with the world today. We become people who read headlines. We become people that get emotionally aroused. And we just jump on whatever circuit out there that makes sense or doesn't make sense. And then we validate that with our ego. That's no way to grow. That's no way to get to A to B. And believe me, you can tell I'm a passionate person. It's easy to get led by my emotions. It's still something I work on. But the reality is, it's not the truth. Truth is something intrinsic and individual, and it doesn't rely on a bunch of stuff. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to put this little chart a little closer so you can see. I'm going to show you the different things here. I'm going to put this up here a little closer. And here we have it. These are screenshots. You guys could do screenshots. These are the actual food pyramids. Going back to 1992, the one that just killed the world. Thank you, politicians. Thank you, Big Pharma. Thank you, school system. You about killed us with your lies. 2025, many years later, please give me this information sooner. It helps. Get me a plate, 25% food, 25% grains, 50% vegetables and fruits. No, you want to take your life to the highest potential? Separate facts from fiction. Intermittent fasting, fats and oils, proteins, then fruits and vegetables. Then removing all the crazy stuff from your diet. This is how it operates, guys. Isn't that crazy? And what we need to realize is that we're in this together. We fight the war together. We learn together. Please like, share, comment. Put the comment in the sections. I'll be happy to answer it. The other thing is you can integrate with that final longevity pyramid a way to detox your body. What's going to enhance and detox your body is following an intermittent fasting followed by a full fast. This offers the highest level of autophagy and allows your body to purge and bring your body back to a state of purity. You want to age gracefully, you want to get older and feel great, purge the body of the man-made material, add it to the foods, purge your body of all this stuff. Last I heard, and I knew this a long time ago, not only do they add plastics to everything, they even put plastics in food so you ingest it. It disrupts your endocrine system. You need to detox it. There's so many other things that you need to detox. One, pesticides. One, heavy metals in the body. These are very well known, and if you haven't heard this before, like I said, educate yourself on this. And another one, the last one I'll cover in this longevity diet right here is the lifestyle balance. You know, people know me. I do Tai Chi. I created my own Tai Chi after 35 years. Movement, stagnation, range of motion. You want to live gracefully. You want to act gracefully. It's not about being rigid. It's not all about pattern. Did you know driving your car an hour from work and home every day is a pattern of behavior that just destroys your body? If you sit in patterns of behavior, or you do movements like running, even running itself, think about it. It's a pattern of behavior. It wears down your joints in a specific fashion. It tightens muscles in certain areas and releases muscles in other areas. You become more of a robot than a human, and that's what the whole key to life is. You're ever changing. You are adaptive. And that is the difference. This body is ever presently changing. This body is unceasing change. So when we get into patterns of behavior, it likely could be to our detriment and and stifle freedom. It could stifle creativity, and it can definitely stifle movement. It's all connected. If you're stifling your movement, your brain is stifled. If you have shallow breathing, you'll have less oxygen in your brain, and you'll be more prone to thinking in fear. Grounding. Grounding outside on the earth, grounding with the anti-aging bed cover is a primary way to reduce inflammation in the body and get a good night's sleep. Sleep is the missing pillar of health. This is another add-on. You want to get old quickly? Anyone want to get old quickly and die full of pain? Worry and get stressed out 24 hours a day. Right? Never sleep. Eat processed foods. You'll age very quickly. You want to do the longevity diet? Do the opposite. Follow the longevity diet. Move. Get creative. Express yourself. Free up and break the stagnation in the body. And recover. Why do we have number one? The biggest thing, intermittent fasting. You should not be eating this if you want to reach your highest potential, electrical balance in the body. You don't need to flood the body with sugar to bring your body back into balance. You need nothing but your body itself. Your body is actually crystalline in structure. It's so cool. Your blood in your body, in its perfect purity and balance, is crystalline in structure. You ever seen a quartz gemstone? When it's pure, it looks like something off, like in outer space. It's like a perfect crystal that looks like a hexagonal. It's perfectly designed. We are perfectly designed. We don't need the intervention from these medical institutes. When's the last time they helped you positively? Why should I even have this conversation? Never. You know how many veterans we've helped? You know what their answer is? I hate this system. I get free health care, but it's death care. I go in there to get death care every day. And when I have pain, they give me more of the stuff that makes me not feel the pain. But the pain is always there. So I'm just taking pill after pill. That's what they get in the vets. You think they're happy? No. Because why? Because some of the most protecting individuals for our country are our military personnel. And guess what? They need jobs too. If they don't pass their physical, they don't keep their jobs. So if they're on this food pyramid here, they're likely wanting to do great stuff, but they can't. They follow this pyramid over here. They didn't pass their physical. We've helped thousands of veterans over the years, and it's really important for us to do that. And of course, recovery. So end all be all, guys. It's just out in the open. What I would say today is that we know the facts. It doesn't help to act like a victim. To act like a victim is to not grow. But to grow realizes, you must, what was the saying? You can only fix what you acknowledge. If you don't acknowledge this, you're never going to fix anything. But the thing is, if you do have a problem, it's okay. We all have problems. But to recognize the problem is the first situation to acknowledging what you could do to fix it. So what you acknowledge you can fix. And that's the beautiful thing about this. And thank you guys so much. It's been a fun Friday here in Orlando, Florida. It's been a great one. We got some people posting here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. And what I can say is, like, if you like our podcast, please like, share, comment. If you look at the comments in the bio in this video, there's a free scan. It's a $500 free scan. We have changed healthcare overnight with American ingenuity and America First understanding. And I'm talking about American taxpayer first. There's a difference. You know what I'm talking about. We are America taxpayer first health technology. We're so much different. There's not billions of dollars in fraud going on. There is just truth. Truth is subjective and objective at times. But the thing is data doesn't lie. And science, based on that data, definitely doesn't lie. And the other thing is, your data is yours, not some guy that has no clue about who you are, but just wants to put you in an algorithm and make you a piece of statistics. You're a human being. Your data is owned by you. You are a citizen. And beyond that, you deserve the truth. When you get your data, we're going to break it down on a silver platter for you. And if you comment free scan below or click on the link, we will give you this $500 free scan out of the kindness of our hearts so that you would know what's going on in this world. On this chart that you'll get, this AI analysis, you'll be able to see something more advanced than put all the doctors in the world together. We're going to take all your data. You are frequency, you are electric, more than you are water. So I'll tell you this. If you believe that the body is mainly made of water, you're 70% plus behind us. We are speaking something totally different than what you understand. You believe the body is water, so you believe in chemicals. But guess what? The body is mainly electric. And when you understand that the body is electric, you'll have 70% plus understanding of what this really is. Nikola Tesla said, you want to understand the secrets to the universe? Think of energy, frequency, and vibration. Albert Einstein says the future of medicine is the medicine of frequencies. Isn't that the guy that wrote your science books? That laid the foundation to everything health, science related? So I'm not doing anything that anyone with the knowledge wouldn't do except share. I'm sharing this wisdom with you so that you could help your family, other per se taxpayer free humans on this earth. We're the health technology for you. We're a humanitarian effort. Our stuff is free to start. I was blessed and gifted enough to offer $5 million in free health services. That means spending 2 to 3 hours with people for free, multiple people, over many years to perfect this art. No one helped us. No one's going to help. You know why? Because unless it's someone like you. Because I'm not in the pockets of the politicians. I'm not in the pockets of the pharmaceutical industry. I am just here on principle. I am just here on intention. I am just here because, frankly, I've seen what happens out there. I care about our veterans. I care about the people that suffer. I know friends and family suffer and how bad it is, or even how financially bad it could be for a health issue to occur. And it's frankly, that type of pain that you witness is why I do this. I've witnessed it happen to my own mother. And that's why I'm here today. It happened to me personally. And so it doesn't take very long, maybe a couple lifetimes, um, maybe a couple generations. And someone's going to stand up and say, hey, guys, the truth is over here. Look what I found. And if it wasn't for all of the credible sources and the people ahead of us, we wouldn't be the foundation of the future of healthcare. We wouldn't be considered the best technology in the world. We wouldn't consider to even claim that we created the med bed. We wouldn't even consider claiming that we have the most advanced AI out there for health. But we do. We do. And I can tell you this from doing this such a long time, is that I like to prove skeptics wrong. I don't got anything else to do. And I've already heard the skeptics for decades. So I'm already in alignment. I've already heard your complaints. I took it. I listened decades ago. Your complaint, I probably heard maybe over 10 years ago. But today, I let those roll off. The reality is, this is much bigger than myself. The technology we have here can solve chronic health disease. Not only did this longevity pyramid for health just explode, that even the current 2025 version or even the 1992 version, we're talking about optimizing your health to your human potential. Nothing less is going to be good enough. Your family depends on you. Other people depend on you. You depend on you. And if you're not reaching for that, then what are we really doing here? We're not reaching for depression. We're not reaching for addiction. We're not reaching for Epstein files. Like we're reaching for pinnacle. We're reaching for health outcomes. We're reaching for people getting better. We're reaching for people to get off of the hamster wheel. I've been on the soapbox a little while today. This is a beautiful Friday. And what I got to say is catch us here soon. We're gonna have quite a few extra podcasts. If you've been joining, I could say that we're doing one almost every day. Please like, share, comment, follow on different social platforms. Help me share the message. And if you're interested, I am looking for special guests and breaking down this new form of healthcare in this medbed sector. What I'd like to say is I hope everyone has a great weekend. And if you have any questions or comments or concerns, comment and we'll get back to you. If you want to take advantage of that free scan, do so. And I'd love to help you guys. So until next time, this is John Baxter with the Baxter Effect Podcast. Much love. God bless you all. Thank you very much.